Okay, hello, welcome back to Let's Run Shadowrun Hong Kong. And things are coming to a head in Haoi. People are falling apart. And we have a thing to do to get from Tin Armed Ambrose. Hmm. Ambrose lies limp in his wheelchair with his spider drone, while a spider drone tinkers delicately on a huge bionic lower leg, which appears to be attached to a dismembered troll thigh. Ambrose reanimates as you draw near. Noel, I'm doing some delicate work here. Just reaching a good point to pause, actually. Okay, what's up? What are you doing? Is that someone's leg? It will be. It's a vat-grown biological upper on a cybernetic lower. I'm merging the two together. It's going to give this poor guy the upper leg he wants back with the lower leg he needs. His voice is hushed. You're interested, huh? Okay, check this out. I'll be back. Ambrose goes limp. A half dozen robotic arms suddenly pulse in a balletic surge of activity, working on the leg, bristling with needles, scalpels, forceps, micro solders, glue, and various other tools. For several minutes, there's no sound but quiet clicking, the hum of machinery. When the work is complete, the silent robotic arms draw back, and I should have checked out the armor from Ermine. They hover near the ceiling. That was my original intention. They hover near the ceiling around the operating area like a giant attentive stick bugs. Ambrose's eyes flutter back open. He continues talking, hardly skipping a beat. This guy works in the tunnels, with his feet in sewage all day. He's got some kind of flesh-eating trench rot. It went right up his leg, nearly killed him. They had to amputate at the hip. I'm giving him his upper leg back, but using a chrome lower leg so it won't happen again. That must cost a lot for a sewer worker. Yeah, it would, but that's why I'm not charging him. Ambrose shrugs as if suddenly embarrassed. Someone else grew the meat leg. I can't do that. I had this old prosthetic lying around already. It's a big beater, but it'll last for years if he takes care of it. Hey, so what can I do for you? What happened with Karen? She betrayed me. Ambrose folds one arm tensely across his chest and scowls. She left me here. He nods towards a small frame picture over his impressive home-built computer. That's Karen. Inspect the picture. A picture of a serious-looking Filipina woman in black tank top. Her neck, shoulders, and arms are chiseled with lean muscle and spotted with tattoos. She looks vaguely annoyed at the camera. Semper Fidelis is visible in Gothic script tattooed across her chest. As a note, I am really annoyed that they mention Quicken tattoos in this game with Brent Shirkley, the mage, but you can't buy them. They are indeed an alternative, a mage's alternative to cyberware. Oh well. A trans Catholic rosary hangs on the picture, a crucifix and a delicate Kali yantra overlaying the center. In the picture, the rosary is visible around the woman's neck. Karen quit Shadowrunning too. Supposedly, she made a full recovery. She started delivering for smugglers. She was my main conduit for drugs and cyber. Ambrose shakes his head gently. She just stopped caring about anything. Maybe it was the brain injury, but I don't think so. I think everything she'd done started catching up with her. I could see it in her eyes. She killed herself, didn't she? Sounds like post-traumatic stress. You're right. But hey, if I've got PTSD, a lot of runners have some PTSD. All the gunfights, survivor guilt. He looks down at the cement floor deep in thought. It's rough, but at the end of the day, it's a treatable neurological adaptation to extreme stress. Karen, though, she had all that to carry and then some. No doubt. Leave you. Go on. Ambrose rubs his mouth with the remainder of his hand. He pauses. She couldn't sleep. She wouldn't take meds for it. I think she didn't want to get better. One day she was here. We were behind the curtain. I went out front to talk to someone. Ambrose presses one of his remaining fingers into the side of his neck. She took her butter knife, set the point right here. She pushed the blade right through and out along her trachea, sliced through everything outside of that, severed her own carotid artery, just like she was removing a sentry. That was it. Done. Ambrose stops, his hand over his mouth. For a long moment when he continues, his voice is thick. She did it right there on the operating table. There wasn't even a thump. That was Karen, efficient, ruthless, considerate in a weird way. Couldn't ever live by her own moral commandments. Couldn't ever ask for what she needed. Requiescent cum Deus, Karen Santos, Kali Mater Magna, Jesu Christe, Swami Nostra. I'm not trans-Catholic, oh, I'm not into religion at all, but I try to honor her that way. Complete the prayer for the dead and the dying. Ambrose silently bows his head as you recite a string of words in Sanskrit and Latin, invoking Karen to rejoin the trans-Catholic concept of universal oneness, the Atma Brahma of the Holy Ghost. Ambrose joins you in the final recitation, Shanti, 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 Amen. His eyes are shining when he looks back at you. Thanks, Noelle. I never learned it in full. Even though she said it over me every day when I was all messed up. Ambrose looks silently at Karen's picture. Eventually, he turns back to you. Ripshot's dead. My old hood in Chicago is in the containment zone. And Karen, well, she was my best friend ever. I'm the last man standing. So here I am. I think I survived for a reason, so I can make other people's lives better. That's what I'm trying to do. Life is what we make it, right? I feel you, Ambrose. Here I am in Hong Kong, doing what I can. Seems like you're doing okay, despite all the wild, crazy-ass shit it sounds like you've gotten yourself into. But I don't hear nothing. For as far as I know, you sweep floors and wash dishes. Here, you want a drink? We should have a drink. Robotic arm flings open a cabinet and clatters inside, and swings across the room, clutching a sapphire blue bottle. It's Lambanog. It's a Filipino coconut vodka. Have a shot with me? Sure, I'll have one. The robotic arm pours 2 shots and swings one over to you. Ambrose gingerly takes the other in his ruined hand and holds it up. To fallen friends. Cheer. May they rest in peace. You swallow the shots together. The strong raisin-flavored liquor burns going down. Ambrose looks around you in silence. Then his gaze settles on you lonely. I used to be a real piece of work, Noelle. When I got busted up for the first time in my life, I had to rely on other people. Broke, hunted, and close to death. Not so different from how you showed up, except for the death part. Someone here owed Karen a favor. The people of Hayoi took care of us. Now I think, if I did so much harm in my past life, how much healing can I do in this one? Ambrose sighs and clutches his shot glass against his chest, like a religious talisman. He looks thoughtfully at you. That's more than I've told anyone in a long time. It does the heart good, Noelle. Thanks. Well, a Rockter's life is busy. Better wrap this up. Thanks, Ambrose. It was a privilege to listen. I got karma for that. I'm glad to know you, Noelle. Who are you, Ambrose, really? I'm Ambrose, Rokatansky. I'm the doctor around here. Stops what he's doing, regards you silently. His living eye glitters with intelligence. Anyone else I might have been is dead and gone. You know anything about an archaeopteryx on the BBS? What, like the bird? Yes, a little bird whom I watched divert attention from a very good rigger dock, and deftly fished for information on one of Icebreaker's old associates. What? What are you implying? That it's me? Ambrose breaks into a smile that is sunny, though possibly a bit forced. Hey, I'm flattered, I really am, but I stay away from the BBS. That world's behind me. Though I suppose if I ever found someone with whom I had unfinished business, Ambrose's voice dropped several octaves for just a moment, I'd be a real angry cuss. What really happened to your team? Things went bad. We got ambushed. Ambrose squints appraisingly at you. His expression is unreadable, a perfect poker face. I must not have been doing a good job of Overwatch. That ambush killed everyone else. Eventually it even killed Karen. With his 3 fingers, Ambrose points to the place tubes emerge from his side. My liver and kidneys are machines in my wheelchair. I've lost about half my body. I'm in chronic pain, and every night it's the same thing. Nightmares. They never end. If I had any part in the end of the crew, well, I've paid with almost everything. It's still less than other. Ambrose is suddenly overcome with emotion. It seemed to catch him by surprise. His poker face cracks in agonal grimness, and tears well up in his eyes. After an instant, he masters himself and his stony face returns. What matters now is making something productive of my life. I mean it when I say I'm about the luckiest guy in the world. Are you saying you had a part in the So, slow the doublespeak, what happened to your team? I don't know, I never saw any of them ever again. It's all ancient history now. There's no such person as Ambrose Rokitansky, is there? Maybe I wasn't born with that name. Maybe Icebreaker's just a notorious and secretive Kong runner who vanished with his team. Maybe I never worked for him. Maybe I did. I'll tell you what's real. This clinic is real. What I do here is real. This place is as real as it comes. Karen was real. She was my friend. And the heart of my story, that's real too. As for the rest, well, some stories are too dangerous. Why'd you leave Chicago, really? Maybe it wasn't the Chicago I left. Maybe there's been a lot of mixing in the UCAS Midwest. It's a big territory that my accent could be from. Maybe I crossed someone, the Mafia, Ares, the Russians, Stuffer Shack. Ambrose winks, but with his cyber eye. His living eye keeps watching you, relentless. Maybe saying that my old hood is inside the Chicago containment zone is just a way to cover my tracks. Go Bears. Very well, Ambrose. Keep your mysteries. I will. Gives you a slight nod. I'm here to pick up Reliable's Matthew's medicine. Really? Well, okay. A Waldo arm opens a cabinet and crackles through a packaging. In a moment, it swings over to you, holding a plastic cylinder about the size of a roll of breath mints. Here you go. The arm gently sets the cylinder in your hand. Inspect the cylinder. The cylinder is lettered with holographic Hansi, cool blue jazz, non-smoker version. It has a stylized illustration of a laid black lounge lizard of a man wearing a zoot suit and smoking a cigarillo. Though the semi-transparent plastic, you can see a stack of what look like tiny pills or chips. Search your memory for what this might be. This looks like a tube of slow-burn, better-than-life chips. These disposable chips create a synthetic experience. Unlike normal BTLs, which burn hot and fast, the sensory and emotional tracks on slow-burn chips are adjusted to be only slightly above legal limits, and they last all day long. They give a gentle, subdued high. It's like you're someone else, but still living your life. Why are you giving Reliable Matthew BTLs? Sorry, Noel, I can't discuss a patient's treatment without permission, confidentiality, Hippocratic Oath, and all that stuff. That's not what the Hippocratic Oath is about. Yeah, whatever, it's crock shit anyway, right? Point is, I can't talk about a patient's treatment. Pocket the cylinder. Okay, goodbye, Ambrose. Time for me to go. Cheers, Noel. Talk to you later. Oh, there's something new to look at here? Examine the photos. Photos, news clippings, and mementos posted around the clinic are visibly consistent with Ambrose's story. Through the general decorations, you can trace his journey. A bunch of aging Chicago photographs, Seattle, the ocean from what looks like a container ship, Osaka, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, the residents of Hawaii plastered over everything else. Inspect the Chicago photos. Many are photos of Chicago landmarks and of street races. Interspersed with them are obviously personal photos of Caucasian African American metahumans at a bar, in front of a fountain, working on a car, so on. A young man, who must be Ambrose, appears in a few of them, but no other person is repeated in the photographs. Ambrose doesn't appear in any of the pictures with recognizable landmarks. Interesting. Look through the general decorations. Most of the pictures are of old Chicago or classic motorhead Americana. 20th century gas stations, desert highways, Devil's Tower, motorcycle gangs. Closer inspection reveals a section full of personal photos, recording what may have been Ambrose's trip from Chicago through the western UCAS, the Sioux Nation, and the Salish Sea Council to Seattle. There's even a photo of the ruins of Grand Coulee Dam. Once it was the largest power station in the old USA. Now it's breached. The Columbia River roars through its jagged concrete throat, wild and cataclysmic. Look more closely at the personal photos. Return your attention to the room. Use astral perception to examine the clinic. Can't do either. To get the full story, you would have to play kind of two different kinds of characters, two different kinds of characters. Someone who has a little bit of skill with magic and someone with high intelligence. The mess of notes, mementos, photos, and paperwork on the wall behind the computer reflects the daily work of Ambrose's life and hints at the story he's told you. A framed photo shows what must be Ambrose as a young man back in his Chicago days, standing proudly in front of a vintage Ford Mustang. Examine the picture of Ambrose on the Mustang. We have nothing here. It looks like a young Ambrose. It's hard to tell for sure, with all his scarring and cosmetic reconstruction now. The young man definitely has Ambrose's big cheesy grin. Can't be more than 25 years old, but he already has a thick handlebar mustache. Return. See, this would require high intelligence, at least intelligence 6. Return your attention to the room. Okay. We are, I think, going to go back to Ermine and see if there's some armor I can buy from her. And then I think we're going to go see about kidnapping a mobster. The music in this place is really too much, actually. Oh, wow. The troll woman looks more weary than you have ever seen her. The club is virtually shut down and she doesn't seem to care. She has lost that presence which had once so defined her, and it was left her visibly smaller. The world's gone mad, hasn't it? Perhaps you want to tell me what's really going on here? She looks at the nearby photo of her son Callum hanging from a metal shelf. Callum thinks Henry isn't his father. He thinks I had an affair. He even threatened to tell Henry if I don't let him leave. Truth is, he's right. I did have an affair. I had several affairs. I was young, beautiful, and very aggressive. I was going places, and Henry was gone at sea most of the time. Henry isn't Callum's father, but I can't tell Callum the truth about his father. It might destroy him. Let me guess, Callum's father is his mysterious new benefactor? Yes, he is. That man now whispers promises to my son, a free ride to university, a guaranteed starting position by who, a bright future. Cal doesn't know what that world is like. Once I was ready to leave Henry for that man. He lavished gifts on me. He told me I was special. Maybe he really did love me. I was a troll girl from Haoi, just transcending the meager beginnings. I was becoming someone of the worth. I even had a powerful human lover. Her mind fires a level gaze at you. Baihu has always frowned at metahumans. I was an exception. I thought that was just because they accepted me. It wouldn't affect me anymore. In fact, I thought that just because they accepted me, it wouldn't affect me anymore. In fact, I myself looked down on most metahumans as oversensitive and lazy. Then he invited me to a high-level corporate retreat for the weekend. What happened? My eyes were opened. Do you want to know what they do at these retreats? They hunt. Well, what is there to hunt here in Hong Kong? Nothing. Nothing but that which is different. Those they secretly disdain. Those they see as animals. They hunt for metahumans. Somehow they thought I'd be okay with it. They thought that I was one of them. They don't kill their prey. It's more satisfying to let them live, knowing their victims are powerless to fight justice. They take trophies, the tips of an elf's ear, an orc's tusks, a troll's horns. She reaches up to stroke her own horns as if reassuring herself that they are still intact. I realized I had already given them a trophy, my basic humanity, my principles. Hermione's voice, cool and professional, her expression is earnest. For me, it wasn't about humans versus elves or orcs or dwarves of my kind. I want you to understand that, Noelle. It was about common humanity. It's about how you treat all people. I'd have taken some trophies of my own at that point. That's how Shadowrunners and corporate executives are different. I hid my feelings like any good negotiator in a bad position. Then, once the weekend was over, I cleaned out my office. I came back to Haoi and sent Baihu my resignation. Later, I found out I was pregnant with Callum. When the DNA test confirmed that Henry wasn't the father, I meant to terminate the pregnancy, but I couldn't bear to do it. And so Callum, my son, one of the joys of my life. Maybe this man fancies himself as Callum's father. Even if he does, that still doesn't guarantee Callum's safety among those people. Baihu is still Baihu. And maybe that man just wants to get back at me for leaving him. After all, he had the audacity to say that I broke his heart. This is why I can't allow Colin to go. I would rather allow my son to hate me forever than give himself to that world. Ermine draws herself up to her full height. She restores herself to her usual regal bearing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have troubled you with my problems. You probably came here on business. Your time is valuable. Can I show you something? Let's have a look. Outfits. What is my current outfit? Is the 3. Okay. Let's look at the sell items. Don't want to sell that. Okay. Okay. Exit. Let me check something. I have 4 karma. Pure tech clothing. Okay. Let's take a look. Secure tech clothing is what I own. Owned. Nope, it's 450, so I'd get 200 back. What is my armor like right now? 3. Ugh. That's not much. Okay, is there anything I can spend on? 4? Not really. I could increase my dodge, but that's about it. Okay. Well, I could increase my willpower to make myself more resistant to magic. That could be a benefit, actually. But I'm not sure how much more benefit I can get from just spending 1 point. Certain magical attacks. I'll save. Okay. Time is almost running short, so I'm going to stop the timer and move on to another video. See you in a moment.